tardes, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, muchas gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone sends my way. From the Cora, thank you. Well, everyone, today I want to expand a little bit more on what I personally think was one of the biggest issues of the downfall of Hüero Verde. And like I said in past stories, you know, throughout this Peely's career, there was quite a lot you could tap into, right? And for obvious reasons, I don't think Sneaky was a dirty individual, but he was with Hüero Verde, and I don't want to put nothing out there to go against his story. My respects to it, so I would tiptoe around it, right? Because I've been asked a lot to touch on it. But for this one, I'm gonna take you back 2006, 7, one of them 2 years, right? And basically, it had to do with Hüero. Hüero, le disculpa, I almost put his dad's name out. I know well, he's protected by them guys, and I already feel anytime soon they're gonna close my channel down for just keep at it, right? But anyways, Hüero from Southside from Tana, and basically, Hüero in 2006, 7, he was put on the lista, right, by Toro from Cucamonga Kings. And basically, it was because he started working with the Federicos. You know, he was part of that crew Toro had going up in the casinos, right? And well, with the American Indians, right? To say it like that. And at one point, I guess he got caught for something or something happened, right? There that he got the okey doke, he got offered the winning way out, and he started wearing a wire per se. He started working with them, and as doing so, when it came to light, Toro put a big hit on him. I mean, it was priority for a lot of reasons. I guess Homeboy knew a lot of Toro's wiggles per se, and when it came to different ends coming in, right? Not just the street barrio type of thing. So he was hurtful when he started talking to the Federicos. And as everyone knows, there ain't no coming back from that, right? Next to being a debriefer, there ain't no coming back from working with the feds, which is pretty much the same thing, right? The only thing that trumps it is them cats that will take the stand, right? But anyways, you know, due to this and to them 187s that had the two brothers, right, Maldito and his carnal, go in to death row. Basically, Toro would end up back in the feds. There was a big indictment on him, and well, you guys know the history to that, right? So we fast forward to man, it had to be 14, 15. It was right before I took off to the feds, right? That it was discovered, more so by those trying to take Caí or from Hüero, which I stated it before, the Ayalas, Chato, and then they had been in that territory for a long time. But again, Hüero did not earn it, right? He was given it, he was given the right to everything Toro had by Toro. He left him there. And my opinion is just it was just too much for a new individual, right, to take control of. It's basically you jump in from a camarada to an individual that has all the dope he wants, all the power he wants, the feria, and of course it's gonna corrupt as it did so with him and his wife. Just straight up, right? Uh, his wife, again, one of the biggest factors. A lot of people state she worked with the Federicos, right? But it's never been proven, right? What is proven is her abuse of power when it came to speaking with camaradas, demanding, disrespecting, all those things that wives don't comprehend, right? That by them doing that, they could be speaking with a camarada that's actually a mouthpiece for a pili. So it's going to reach back to different pilis, and that's how little by little they start building a politic or a move on the pili because he's the one that's going to feel the ricochet to things, right? But anyways, getting back to where I started, right? When 2015, it had to be, or the end of 2014, but it was discovered that Hüero from Southside Fontana was walking along in like nothing in San Bernardino, and he basically had a protection thing going for the with Hüero Verde. You see, again, money corrupts, right? It's hard to understand when these individuals could tap into so much, how they could piss outside the bucket and go against the green by uh by making some more queso, right? Some more money. In reality, it's just when they're there, since they're in each other's throat, it's about I'm the smartest individual. I'm smarter than the next cat, right? I'm stronger than the next cat, and it's what always end up biting in the butt, right? You see, up to this point, there's were a couple issues, right, that happened. One, right when Weddle got made, he got delivered something by T, and Weddle basically turned in 2/3 of what he got given by T. I want you guys to keep in mind, Toro's known for his work, for the work he moves around. He don't he don't do wet stuff. He don't do cut down stuff. He he's known, right? It's one of the main factors why he got made because he taps straight into Zacatecas and he's a real good cook himself. We'll just leave it at that. And anyways, Güero and Heseli, more so Güero, right? Said it came wet and they try to try it out. I don't know, something to that effect, and they lost a third of it. Now we're not speaking about chiclets though, right? A little pound, two, whatever. No, we're speaking them numbers. That a third is it's a lot in its own, right? So it's a big loss. But what Weddle didn't really comprehend when he was starting that a lot of people were still loyal to Toro. Like I said before, Toro ain't a bad pili, right? And he will flex up when he needs to flex, but overall, you talk to him right, you treat him right, he's gonna extend his hand, you know. Um, but and the feds. This happened right away, and you could say it's when it all started when he started communicating more with Ronnie and Hector and Chato and you know the people that wanted that area. So he basically Toto was the one that gave him a little in. That's why they're there now, right? Recently, I heard a lot of camaradas is like, man, in ahí it looks like they don't have no pilis because at least San Bernardino, the guys running it is either San Diego or LA, right? And that's how it became to be because Hüero Verde being a tecato, straight up a liar and a snake, right? And at the same time, allowing his girl to do more than a camarada would do towards a camarada. We will never go up to a camarada disrespect, even if a pili sends us, speak loud against them. Basically, belittle a camarada, right? It's not how it works, but again, females don't comprehend that, right? They also don't comprehend that all her actions are being heard and held on to move on her husband or whatever pili they're under. But anyways, again, getting back to Hüero from Southside Fontana, right? I did not meet this individual, just through paper, right? I know his name, his last name, everything through paper. And I read the paperwork of him snitching, telling, straight telling, asking for protection. And for some reason, he didn't get it. But, anyways, he wasn't hiding the whole time. Toro was there because he was on top of that lista, right? And he was never found. Now I don't know how he got in touch with Güero Verde. I'm assuming through the wife though, right? But don't quote me on this. I'm just assuming. But when it became a big issue with Güero was it got discovered homeboy was paying literally monthly quotes to Güero's wife for that protection. And it was met to the dot. Now keep in mind, this is an informant, discovered informant with paperwork and everything. And Güero Verde is protecting him, allowing him to walk the streets of San Bernardino like he never did anything. He was one of the biggest factors that got Toro to the feds, right? There is no coming back from that. There is no pain. But since there's other Billys, right, that are dirty like that, that are protecting rapists by allowing them to pay, and no camarada could touch them. There's been cases of sobrinos, two pilis, that they're known for rats, straight up, but their family, they can't be touched, which is funny to me, right? How they say Emmett comes before family, and when push comes to shove, family become over trumps everything. Even if you're a camarada trying to press that issue, believe me, they'll tell you be quiet or is your butt. Is the type of program that is run till date. Because I know at least six different individuals with funny stuff that are amongst the goons walking around a billy in the yard. And nobody's right. I could ask for their paperwork. And if so, nobody could question that, believe me, because you will be removed before them. It's what it's become, right? I understand when you're wiggling, of course, you got to chase that ends, that money, right? that power. But when it starts going against everything you hurt your own people under, rats, rapists, instead you're whacking homies because they don't want to give you something from canteen, from their package. They don't want to obligate their family to do something for you. You know, they get something on the yard to get high. They still got to give you dips, right? For that, you're taking win. But you see, Hüero, he was cashing in. Literally, everything came out to flow. That's what later came out, right? That, he had a plug. It was his and his alone. But little lies could lead to him not being trusted as a camarada, right? At least in their own politic way of thinking. Güero would say he would hit let's just say four pedazos and he would report two and he would end up getting two. You see, by this time he had let go of himself. If he was a tecato, towards the end he was a dolphin. He didn't care what happened to him. He was just an angry dude trying to get high. The complaints were there. I mean, come on. You think Camaradas didn't complain that his wife was doing the most? And I'll just put it to you like this. When we're in the feds, there's a Pili from Ontario. I don't know if this is out there like that, right? So we'll leave it like that since there's many of them, right? Okido, Güero's wife. What I mean by this is he literally sent for the hermanos, not for Güero, through Güero's wife and him, 10 pedazos of negra. Well, since communication is a little difficult, the Pili in the Fed stood quiet and let it play it out, right? And since I guess Güero did not hear from anybody about that, what was coming in, he reported four. Hey, so and so sent four pedazos. I'm gonna share with three other Pilis. He still kept one for himself, and he sent three out, and that's when Homeboy pressed the issue. You know, and it's in a funny way. I'll say it like that. The Pili had his people take pictures beforehand while there when it was given, and did that whole FBI weenie stuff, right? Recording and stuff, but it was a way to press that issue, right, with proof, not just hearsay. Because Weddle was going to deny it, his wife, and the reason why they figure Weddle's wife was cooperating was not only because she was stealing from the mob, right, from the rest of the Pilis by hiding under Weddle's name. For example, with when this got sent, how the hell did that FBI know? How the hell did certain individuals walked up to the Pili cell that sent it and told him we heard about your little issue and the little trap. And of course the Pili, I don't know what you're talking about. But tell me how the Federicos will know. He sent 10, they sat on 6, and who the another 3 went out to. Weddle wasn't doing it. Weddle was making sure his wife reached other Pilis, but he couldn't put that much out there like that, right? So, it's just small things that started coming into play. As you know, well, like I said, I'll keep it clean when it comes to sneaky single. But you see, this is just one of the many. I mean, I know there's a lot of camaradas that have heard of Pilis getting paid and protecting snitches, rapists. But this is a snitch that literally took down a kingpin. Whatever you want to think about Toro, he had all San Bernardino sold up. We're not talking about neighborhoods, uh, getting rent. Nah, he had avenue, legit businesses where to cover the feria, everything you could think of. This cat was one of the main pointers that heard him, that heard all of that. And still, Toro went on his way to put Hüero Verde on France status and leave everything to him for later on it to come out he's receiving money to protect the same individual that took everything from Toro. Here's the kicker. The two camaradas, right? They're still in good standing, so we'll refer to him as M and P from Southside Fontana that reported this to Toro and other Pilis. One of Güero's last move was to have him whack. It got clear they're there, but they still got steel in them. It's exactly what happens. You get a rug Pili that jumps from Tecato to Dolphin, and you start being collateral damage to him getting high, to him earning his money any way possible. And remember, you're Sureño, you can't speak on it. But anyways, I just thought I touched a little bit more on Güero Verde to see if I could put a little more of an in look on what played out later, right? He heard a lot of camaradas for sitting on dope. We'll leave it at that. So again, if you're doing your thing, do it, handle it, but be wise when you get brainwashed or try to get brainwashed to go in and earn your things. You might get a good feeling. You might get one of them tecatos, right? That you're gonna come out losing regardless. But you're gonna lose if you end up with a dope fiend. I said it before, I'll repeat it. You wanna go into prison and fall underneath rules, regulations, and sayings by a dope fiend? Try it. Go to Skin Road. Let one of them individuals run your program for a month, you know, and then decide how to wiggle. But overall, be smart, stay true to yourself, and loyal to loved ones.